Okay. What's up, Steven?
Breaking news. Breaking news. We are covering hot off the press.
Hot from the presses.
Hot. Ow. Ow. Ow.
You
Ooh.
might burn yourself
Ooh.
if you get too close. If you get to that cast
Right.
iron pan that Karen touched in Halloween
In this
2018.
one. Honestly, the script from this movie does feel like they typed it up really quickly and printed it out. And then as soon as it came out of the printer, they grabbed it and they're like, start.
I read
No
that,
time to edit. No time to edit this.
That blows my mind because a first script will spend like years and years and years being worked on. And then this, like a sequel is like money. Get it going now. I think they wrote this in like 3 months.
I would
easily.
say quicker, and again we're gonna spend obviously this episode talking about the movie, but it really felt like one of those movies where I haven't seen them, but I have seen the trailer, so I have enough information to go on.
Plenty of info.
It's like those New Year's Eve, Mother's Day movies where it's like there's 30 different characters and they're all on camera for 5 minutes.
It was
Like,
a real ensemble piece.
No one was in this movie for more than 6 minutes.
Probably. Yeah. Of total
Literally.
screen time, if you counted, yes.
I would love to do an analysis of the screen time in this movie.
I want to see like a pie chart breakdown and every character has a
Spoiler
color.
alert. Spoiler alert. Jamie Lee Curtis is in the movie for 8 minutes.
Less. I
Less,
think
maybe.
6. I would
And
put
she's
money
doing-
on 6.
And she's doing my dream role,
Ugh, laying in a bed.
which is bad acting.
I was gonna
She's
say,
horizontal the whole movie.
I was really gonna say good for her because when you start getting like a little bit older, your production days you want to spend them laying.
Right, in a
So.
comfy bed. in a
Seriously,
little
good
robe.
for her.
Good for her.
Good for her. I was like, somebody negotiated correctly for this.
Yeah.
But I get the sense that she's more earnest and would have loved to have gotten her hands dirty in this one.
You know what? I bet I can see that she was definitely behind the camera every day, looking at the takes, looking at the dailies.
Eyes on the dailies.
That's a technical word, by the way. And
Yeah, we don't want to alienate you, but we do know some technical terms.
cut. No. So I bet
Check the
she was
gate.
definitely, she was there every day for sure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, producer Jamie took her role seriously. Did we
Yeah.
expect any less? She understood the assignment in 2018. This is our episode for Halloween Kills 2021. Oh my God. Wow.
This year.
Wow. That was this year.
Right.
I think, okay, we wanted to thank our new viewers, our potential new listeners, and we wanted to kick off today's pod with
With the celebration.
a celebration of you guys.
And us. Actually, it's us too.
It's you guys celebrating
Celebrating
us.
us.
Is like how it really
This is like in the LuLaRoe documentary. This is the convention. This is the convention, and instead of Kelly Clarkson singing, we're just gonna read some of the reviews because I am just shocked that anyone would take time out of their day to write a review. So
Me too.
and these were so cute, and
They're
why
very
don't-
nice so far.
why don't you read the first two and then I'll read the second two, just so we can shout out
Yeah.
the wonderful fans.
Okay. So our latest comment from Abby _Jean. Thank you. She writes, obsessed. Popped up on my
Take your time.
I just slur through it.
Yeah. Take your
Popped
time.
up on my For You page. So I gave it a listen and I can't stop laughing. I want to be.
She's okay. I hope she's okay.
I hope you're okay. I hope you stopped just to sleep at least.
Yeah.
I want to be friends with these two. They are hilarious and I can't wait for more. Oh my God.
We tricked her. Or him.
I know. Yeah, I really don't want to gender
Let's
any of
not
these usernames.
assign a label.
No, of course not. Thank
That
you
was
so
wonderful.
much, Abby Jean. That's so nice of you. Seriously. Especially with those two little laughing
No
emojis.
joke. No jokes.
Oh, no, I'm not kidding.
Okay, next one.
Next one I see from JLo Forever.
Which we haven't confirmed, but I would put money that this is JLo's account.
I think it's from her team.
Yeah. So let's read it with that veil, if we will.
Okay, yeah. This person writes, the best movie pod. Wow, just wow. Not only do these guys have taste in movies, they're funny. How is this much comedy in one pod legal? Great job. We'll be tuning in every week.
And I knew this was from Jennifer Lopez because she used the word job. And we know that Jennifer Lopez is obsessed with going to work.
She loves work.
She loves work. This is from J-Lo. Thanks, J-Lo.
Thank you, J-Lo. Appreciate you.
Another one from, and I'll just spell this. It says EUDDYKO. I don't know how to put those letters into sounds, but if that's you, thank you. Another person who I guess is having a medical condition, because this person says, I can't stop laughing. Y'all randomly popped up on my FYP, which, what does that stand for?
I had to tell Steven that stands for For You page.
Oh, right. From
on
TikTok.
TikTok.
And decided,
We're old.
so we didn't, not forced, guys. This is not a pyramid scheme. To look up your podcast, and I can't stop listening and laughing with you. Two laugh emojis again. Please keep making more episodes. Well, your wish is our command.
Granted.
And then
we'll be back.
And then we have another one. We have one that says "Finally." That's the title from Star Jones, who I can only imagine is Star Jones from The View. And it has to be. It says, I too have been concerned about the movie star's presence in society. Keep up the good work. That's Star Jones. I mean, she's very analytical. She's very interested in academics. So we have two celebs and two
common
two people.
Fans.
Right, which is
two celebs, two people.
Yeah, so
two celeb reviewers, two people.
Two celebs,
kills me.
Two people. And there's room for more. So if you would like to write a review, we will definitely read it on the air.
Incentive.
And if it's, I mean, I'll say it, but it has to be 5 stars. Otherwise, we can't read it.
We legally cannot read it if it's not 5 stars. We talked to our team.
Our attorney, Star Jones, and she said no.
Yeah, no, we will not read it if it's not 5 stars. So just keep that in mind. Something to keep in mind.
Yeah, keep it in mind.
Back your mind.
Now that we've gotten that
out of the way.
What do they call that? Oh, never mind.
You good?
Yeah.
He's not all right.
What is it like? We got our administrative business off the table.
Our admin. I love abbreviating to admin. I don't know why. I think it's so funny.
Yeah, we've got the admin work done, so we're ready to dive into this week's episode. Do you want to read? Now, this is breaking news, hot off the press. So, if you have not seen Halloween Kills, I would recommend watching it before we go through it, because obviously we're going to have to talk about the plot. And there are scenes that not only could you have not predicted, but there are also genuinely some twists and turns. But we're going to start with a general summary, but this is your warning now that we are going to go through the plot.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to say so many spoilers in this. Please don't listen to this if you have not watched this. It is so much fun. You have to stop now and go watch it.
Oh, and
Please.
It's on Peacock. So if you don't want to go to the movie theater, it's on Peacock right now.
Yeah. But go to the movie theater.
Peacock Premium. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So our production summary for Halloween Kills, starring Jamie Lee Curtis. The nightmare isn't over. What'd you say?
I said sort of starring.
Sort of starring Jamie Lee Curtis and 15 other people. Okay.
Yeah. I think. Okay, go ahead.
More than 15.
Yeah. The whole town. Okay, go ahead.
We just keep stopping the summary.
Go ahead.
To add qualifiers. Okay. Yep. The nightmare isn't over as unstoppable killer Michael Myers escapes from Laurie Strode's trap to continue his ritual bloodbath. Great job. Injured and taken to the hospital, Laurie fights through the pain as she inspires residents of Haddonfield, Illinois, to rise up against Myers. Taking matters into their own hands, the Strode women and other survivors from a vigilante mob form a vigilante mob to hunt down Michael and end his reign of terror once and for all. Should have
There
given
you
that a
go.
rehearsal, but I didn't.
Should have given it a dry run, just like those reviews, but
Didn't.
didn't.
I'm sorry. I don't
It's
know if you
okay.
heard.
Some of the actors in this movie didn't give their lines a dry run either. So,
I don't know if you heard,
what?
but I went to a concert last night.
Oh, gosh.
So I'm kind of tired.
Oh, gosh. Well,
Sorry.
rise and shine.
We're there. Great little summary. It's
I'd love
exactly
to go to
what
a concert
happened.
where they just play the Halloween theme over and over again.
You're like bump into Michael Myers' theme.
Okay, wait. So when this movie starts, it starts with the title sequence, and does it start with the?
No, I think there's a cold open. There's every movie has done this. Well, Halloween 2018 did this, and now this one does it.
Oh,
We
right, because it's Bonnie.
open on Bonnie Cameron, right?
I was
Is that his name?
shocked. I was shocked that he was still alive.
Oh,
I
wait,
forgot.
wait. Viewers, before
What?
we get into it.
Oh.
I saw this in the theaters, okay? And I laughed so much. I had so much fun, but I could have predicted exactly 0 things in this movie.
Yeah.
To the point where I left the theater and I frantically texted Steven and I was like, please, God, please make some
Yeah.
predictions before you go in.
Right.
Put them in a sealed envelope or whatever you got to do. I want to know. I want to read these on air because I need to know.
Right.
And I just could have predicted exactly 0 things in this movie. So I need to put this to you, Steven.
Yeah.
What did you think?
And-
Predictions, if you don't want to spoil now,
Yeah.
predictions to what actually happened, like how accurate were you?
Okay, I can read my predictions because
Okay, yeah, let's hear them.
honestly, when I wrote these, I wasn't trying to be funny. Like when Chanel threw down this challenge, I was like, I want to be right.
It was a challenge.
And I don't think I was on any of them.
I wanted you to like really give it your best
I
thought.
tried. So my first prediction, I was the most proud of, and I really thought I was going to be correct. And I think I would get maybe, if it was a 4 points for this one line, I would get 1 point, because I wrote that I wrote for my first prediction, Jamie Lee Curtis will fall in love with someone.
You did? Good for you. Good for
But
you.
I cannot give myself full credit because I really don't think that's what those scenes were. I think she just had like a relation. I think she had a human connection with the man in the movie, but I can't give myself credit for that.
I understand where you're going. You're saying it's not love yet.
No, but
She
I
has
bet
a flirtation.
she does have a flirtation, and I'm proud of that one. Okay, my second one, again, I give myself partial credit for. I wrote Judge Judy Greer, kills viciously. Which this was something we talked about at the end of the last one too.
We wanted that for her. I wanted to see her step into like vigilante mode and
She sort of does,
go off.
but not enough. Not enough to satisfy my itch. So again, I can't give myself full credit for that.
Wow, you're doing great though.
My third prediction is the most correct. I wrote Kyle Richards will steal the show. And I
She
think
does.
that honestly, and
She does.
I know that I'm biased in this and that I'm a total Real Housewives of Beverly Hills fan. I truly think Kyle Richards gave the best performance in this movie.
Yes, she's in a different movie.
I thought she was like really acting and like
I believed her. The horror.
So her scene in the playground was the best acting in the movie. Okay?
I agree with you 100%. Yes. Wow. I was very
and then
impressed.
my fourth prediction, and this was only because I knew that there was already another movie coming, right? Like I knew that there was already going to be Halloween Ends.
Okay,
So
I think I might know where this is going.
I wrote that Michael will survive even more unlikely scenarios.
Yes. Good for
Which
you.
was true.
Good
So,
job.
I think Kyle Richards was right. I think Michael was right. But honestly, the last one, that's not groundbreaking. That's sort of like
that's
everybody
kind of a
knew that.
given.
But
Sort of
I
a
think my
given.
focus was that in this one, I felt like he was going to survive things that were just like truly implausible. And they were. The other two,
Man.
the Love and Judge Judy weren't. They didn't really pan out.
I wish I had written down like specific scenes that I thought we were gonna get. Like I wish I'd
I
gotten
would have
super
never been
specific.
able to do that.
It was like throwing spaghetti at a wall. Like I just wouldn't have been able to. Now what I got
No way.
was 100% more fun than I would have ever guessed. But
Yeah,
wow, just wow.
I legitimately had nightmares for 2 nights from the first one. Like I found it to be very terrifying. I was just telling Chanel, I slept like a baby last night. And not in the sense that I woke up every 15 minutes and cried, like in the sense that I actually slept through the night.
Slept great,
and
like a log.
Like a log.
My mom would say, slept like a log.
I found, even though this movie was like 100 times more violent, it just wasn't. It wasn't scary.
It wasn't
scary.
I was prepared to go to the theater and jump. I wanted so many jumpy jump scares. I was like, I hope my seatmates are fun.
Yeah.
I laughed so much. I would have laughed so much more.
I had one legitimate jump.
Yeah. Do you remember it? I don't. I had no jumps.
Yeah, I do.
Oh, you do remember?
Well, I'll announce it when we get to it. It's pretty early on.
Okay.
Anyway, so let's start.
So we do open up on Cameron as Bonnie, which I did wonder what happened to him after 2018. So actually very nice.
I thought he was dead.
Oh, you thought he was dead?
Well, just in the sense that we didn't really check in with him at all at the end of the last one.
Yeah.
Like after he put her phone in the pudding.
Yeah.
So it was like, what?
We'll get to you later.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll deal with you next time.
Yeah.
I think if I could have predicted anything, it would have been that we're going to still be at Halloween night. Like it was going to be a direct continuation. I think that was the only thing I could have probably predicted.
Which I liked.
Accurately. And I did like it. And I have to admit, I probably thought we were going to get a little bit of the next morning too. We didn't.
Right.
We didn't.
Which I do wonder where the next one, I assume that the next one will just be.
I think it's going to be the same night. Like, I just think it's going to be 3 movies in real time.
I bet the next one will take us to morning because the sun is it's still pitch black when this movie ends.
Yeah.
And boy, did they get a lot done in the night.
Not only did they get a lot done, we flashbacked.
Oh,
right. We went back in time. We went
very
forward.
long flashbacks. Oh, God.
I lost myself in them. I was like,
yeah. Or where are we?
Watching?
Okay.
So, let's see what my notes say. Cameron's the first person we see, Mr. Bonnie. We thought Hawkins was a goner, but he is not. He's alive and well, or not very well.
Yeah, he has a gunshot wound into his neck, but he's still talking.
So the doctor in 2018 stabbed him with that pen or whatever that thing was.
Oh, right. It was a stab.
Yeah, he stabbed him. So Bonnie finds him. And then do we immediately get a flashback there? I think we do.
In that scene, yes. Right?
Or,
yeah, I think so.
Regardless if it happens exactly in that moment or not, we find out that Hawkins is like, I had a chance to kill Michael Myers and I didn't.
This was a good plot. I enjoyed this.
I enjoyed it until I think they took it like a little too far, like in the melodrama of it. Because
for sure,
we find out, we go back to 1978, we have a young Hawkins. We go back to that fateful night when Michael Myers killed on the babysitters. And we find out that Hawkins, like, Michael Myers is choking out his partner and Hawkins misses, or like he doesn't really miss. He just shoots his partner.
Pause. That was the only time that I legitimately jumped out of my seat is when his partner is standing in the window looking out and then Michael just lunges at him with the rope. That was like the scare? Only scare.
Yeah.
I thought that was very terrifying.
I didn't, but
okay.
No, this movie was super, super fun. I have been describing it to people. I'll just say this up top in case it ever feels like I'm shitting on it. This movie to me was an amusement park.
That's how I feel about Sex and the City too.
Yes, it was so fun.
It wasn't real. It was like a fever dream.
I just felt like to me, this is an experience. This is like going to Six Flags, and each sequence was like getting on a new roller coaster. And I love roller coasters. I love being scared.
Well, same too.
I love giggling with glee. I love screaming. So each sequence in this to me was like hopping from Nitro to like El Toro. You know what I'm saying? It was very fun.
Yeah, and that's a Six Flags Great Adventure reference.
Yeah, that's a Six Flags Great Adventure New Jersey reference.
That's a chain theme park. Yeah. So
me just trying to impress viewers with like what I know about roller coasters.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, what did you? Yeah, and then after that, we cut to the bar.
Yeah, I enjoyed the flashback scene. I enjoyed that they started it in a stylized sense where it felt the camera shifted a little bit, and then randomly
They put some film grain in it. They made it feel like 78.
they did in the beginning, and then there's just like a scene where they drop it and they're just like, okay, it's just modern film now. So that's where it was a little bit confusing, because at some points I was like, where are we? Because when they didn't use the film grain, it was like,
Well, they were attempting to make 78 look like 78 with film grain. So whether it was successful or not, each time we were in 78, there was like a little fuzziness happening.
a little bit. It was fine. It was, I think that what I started to realize early on with this movie is that we were like 20 minutes in, and like we hadn't seen any of our major characters.
Yeah.
Like,
They started with everyone but
Right.
Jamie and the fam.
And then after this, we go to the bar scene where this looked like fun. There was a Halloween talent show.
Talent show.
Now, let me reorder that. There was a talent show on Halloween.
On Halloween.
And this was really comforting. So we barely mentioned them in the last episode because they were barely in it. But the sexy nurse and the doctor from the first one are at the talent show. Well, they're not performing. Remember, they were walking to their car and you were talking about the costumes. And I said, oh, the sexy nurse and the doctor. Remember,
Wow, I missed them. Missed them completely
they
in
were
2018.
they were in the first movie, but only for like 30 seconds.
The callbacks in this are pretty next level. They're not super on. Some of them are on the nose, but not too many. And there's like a lot of really like simple ones, which I loved. And you're right, we get them, and they're at this talent show, and that was fun.
They are serious. They're like, we're here to watch the talents, because there's a group behind them that are clanging their drinks and whooping it up, hooting and holler, giving each act an old hoot and holler. And these guys are like,
Excuse me,
we're trying to,
we like talent.
Yeah, we're trying to watch the show. And then the one guy's like, I'm going to get us more drinks. So he goes to the bartender, and the bartender's like, leave them alone.
Yeah, they've been through a lot.
They've been through a lot. They were almost murdered 40 years ago. So they come here every year.
When we meet Tommy, grown-up Tommy, who's Anthony Michael Hall, and he gets on stage to tell the story of the Michael Myers murders.
I did not like Tommy.
You didn't like Tommy? Oh, I didn't like Tommy
The ringleader of Make Haddonfield Boring Again. He was
confused. It was wild to be like, that's what Tommy became.
Yeah, it was okay. Tommy, and I don't know the actor's name. Tommy, he was psyched to do this role. I can tell you that just by watching. His energy was bouncing off the screen, and I just wanted to say, relax, okay, relax, because he was giving me 110.
Yeah,
in every scene,
he was really doing it. Understood.
He was so excited to be there, and he gets up, and his talent is telling depressing stories.
His storytelling. Which he's pretty good at it. So, I mean.
It's funny, though, because, okay, so he gets up and he tells the story, shockingly, of the Haddonfield murders. Mm-hmm. And it's as if the audience, they're looking at him, they're like, what are you talking about? What murders? But keep in mind, this is like the only event that's ever happened in this town ever. And like, there's a room full of adults who are old enough to have experienced, to have been there. And he's like, all right, I get it. You guys weren't there. You don't remember. Maybe you're not old enough.
He's like too young and too something to care.
I was like, there are two women in their 70s in front of you.
Sitting right in the back.
Dressed as witches. Like, they remember. And so it just made me funny. I was like, does no one remember this story?
I had to laugh. It was so much fun. Like you said, his energy's at a 10. The camera's dancing around him. We're cutting to him. We're cutting to the audience. They're riveted. They're in. And it's just like another great way to get that exposition in there, like the podcasters from 2018.
Yeah.
Like, this is where we are.
And the scene is actually really helpful if you had no idea what had happened, because he does one of my favorite things in movies where you don't see that often, where he just introduces the characters. This is Kyle Richards. She was at the scene. This is whatever.
Lindsay.
It was like,
Nurse whatever, Michael jumped on her car.
Yeah.
And then I think the movie does flash to their faces from to 78. I think. I only saw it once this time. I didn't do a double pass.
I don't remember, but he definitely and when I'm saying he flashes them, he takes a spotlight and shines it on their faces.
Yes. And now, okay, this might be a good moment to bring up Lonnie. Okay.
Which one? Okay, honestly, I don't remember their names. Who is
So,
Lonnie?
I thought this was a kind of really funny.
Was Lonnie the dad?
Yeah, so Lonnie is Cameron's dad. And we
Shocked.
The other two Michael Myers like survivors are very grounded in the reality of what happened in the 78 film. So we saw Lindsay. We saw the nurse. We saw Michael Myers jump on the nurse's car and traumatize her, and she got away.
Right.
I think it's so funny. They included that little flashback to little Lonnie, who's getting bullied.
Right.
He's getting completely bullied.
But that's new, right?
So they introduced they tried to pretend like there was like a new character in 78.
Right.
Or they wanted to give us a moment with Lonnie to like connect to him so that when we saw him in the bar, they were like, he was there too. He was there and he survived.
Right.
I thought that was
But he's
hilarious.
not from the... Yeah, Lonnie, who we find out is... We don't find it out now, but we find it out a little bit later on, is the dad of the
Tool boyfriend,
the
Cameron.
Tool boyfriend who's dressed up as Bonnie.
Mm-hmm.
Bonnie and Lonnie. They squeeze him in there.
They do squeeze him in there. Now, I can see some Halloween heads being a little bit mad at me, and I will say this. In 78, they're teasing a boy, saying, go up to the door, Lonnie, go up to the door, Lonnie. And then Dr. Loomis goes, Lonnie, get out of here. So there is one mention of a Lonnie in 78, and that's it.
Okay.
And it's like a flash on a screen. Now, they're hoping that the Halloween heads understand that, and they go, let's give you another Lonnie moment.
Okay, got it.
Where Lonnie escapes. Just very funny, because then we're back on stage, and little Tommy is like, check out Lonnie, who also escaped Michael Myers.
What's
Dead.
funny about these four people is that they are all acting in different movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Tommy character is doing a one-man show off Broadway, just screaming his lines to the back of the house. Kyle Richards is acting to get an Academy Award nomination. Yeah. And I think she's doing great.
True fright.
The woman who plays the nurse, I think she's having fun. And she's just like, she's just happy to be there.
She looks like pretty wide-eyed. She's like, wow, I'm on a movie set.
Yeah, she literally looks like, wow, I'm here. Like she won a contest and she's in the movie. And then Lonnie,
be an extra.
Lonnie was like, okay, I saw the first one and you guys had a weird dad. And I know he's dead. So
I'm here.
Do you guys need another one? Because I can do a weird dad pretty easily.
Yes, that was so much fun.
But anyway, that scene's effective because it introduces everybody and
we know where we are.
And no one is more knowledgeable or less. And I mean like fan-wise. Like, and this is what I liked about the first movie too. Like it's not intentionally trying to leave anybody out of the dark or feel like they can't participate. No,
yeah. Fun for all. If you weren't understanding the little tiny callbacks, no problem. They included a scene for you. Now, it was perfect.
After the talent show, they saddle up to the bar and they look on the TV and breaking news, they're just getting wind of the Michael Myers murders.
Yeah, was this the fire at Laurie's house and like the firefighter massacre?
Right.
Point?
Well,
I think so.
Yeah, because it cuts to the fire and then there's the firefighter. Yeah,
we basically we're cutting like to and fro, like different locales, and they're at Laurie's house, and the firefighters show up to go put the fire out, and one by one, Michael picks them off easily. Boom, boom, down, down. And that's what we're seeing on the news now.
Right. Now, this scene felt very informative in the sense that in this one scene where Michael kills all the firefighters, he killed more people in that scene than in maybe even the last movie. Like there were 10. The kills were really high and it was really bloody. And I think an idea that the movie tries to tackle, but they've almost painted themselves into a corner, I would say.
Yeah, they're still straddling this line. I
they
know,
don't
I
know
know what you're
what to
saying.
they don't know what to do with Michael.
Yeah,
And
they
they don't
still
know.
are like man, myth.
And I think that the problem with the movie, and this is not I don't want to use the word problem, but I think what's hard as the viewer is that what the initial appeal of Michael is that he used a knife and he killed people in realistic ways.
Yeah.
And then in this
Once
movie,
upon a time, he did.
he's moved so far beyond that. And what this movie also attempts to do is break down this idea that Michael is actually interested in killing Lori.
Yeah. I like,
And we'll get to it as we go through
my
it.
confusion is real because they still, like you said, I think that they kind of have straddled two things.
100%.
In the beginning of 2018's movie, you actually would be led to believe that they're trying to make a case that he's the boogeyman. He's like this mythical figure.
Right.
And honestly, that's kind of where I want to go with it because, you know, it is so unrealistic that he's just like killing. Oh my God, in the staging of these bodies in this one,
Yeah.
he's just staging them in various like weird ways. Like I remember in the 2018, he jack-o'-lanterns one of the guy's heads. I'm like,
Yeah.
how? Where are your supplies? I mean,
Right.
I'm saying how, but you're not supposed to even care how. It's just fun. But I had to laugh to myself because I went home and I wrote the note. It's about kills, and then I realized the title's called Halloween Kills.
Now, wait.
And it's appropriate.
What I did like about the firefighter scene is, number one, his mask is a little bit melted from the fire, and it's so chic. Like it looks so much better. And
it adds to it.
I laughed really hard when he approaches the firemen to kill them, and the one guy just turns on the hose and sprays him with the hose.
You know what you're dealing with, buddy.
I was like, you're first. Like, come on.
You're new here. Let me show you. I was looking around the theater. I'm not kidding. I'm looking seatmate to seatmate going, please, someone laugh with me. I was laughing so much. I thought this was so funny in the best way possible. I'm laughing with them. I think Danny McBride wanted you laughing. I'm going to stand by that.
Well, and this is what I think I didn't fully finish my thought when I was talking about this scene, but what I appreciated about this scene was that it really informed you that this is not going to be realistic. Like, this is going to be over the top. This scene was beyond the scale of believability and then once you just allow yourself to enjoy that ride at Six Flags, then you're good to go.
I wrote that note because sometimes I'm like stickler if a movie betrays my trust. If you're going to set one thing up and then go do another thing, I'm kind of like annoyed at you. I go, this movie betrays zero of my trust. It's perfect. It's a world where people are going to be mortally injured and they're going to wake up in the sequel. And it's a movie where Michael Myers is going to be just stabbed, shot at, all these things. And he's going to get back up.
And
that's what we want to see. And we got it. We got it I could say to the millionth degree. The kills in this were unreal.
The kills in it were unreal. Now, at some point during this, we do cut to the title sequence, and I just wanted to mention that I felt like, okay, the spin on the music this time, it felt like it was given like an Adele remix. It was like kind of slowed down a little bit. No, I don't think Adele actually remixed the Halloween theme, but it was different.
I was actually asking, so good thing you confirmed.
Okay. Breaking news: Adele did not do the remix.
They come at her with like, "Do you want to do a single for Halloween?"
Yeah, she was like, forget Skyfall. I'm just gonna
forget James Bond.
I'm gonna sing the Halloween theme. I'm just gonna hum it. It felt a little slowed down, a little bit more melodic. I really enjoyed it.
I love that theme so much. I would have taken the original theme too. Just put the normal one on there. But I know they have to do a little spin on it, so I'm cool.
Okay. So anyway, at this point, what's hard about talking about this movie is that there are so many scenes across 19 different settings.
Multiple locales, yes.
We'll do our best to zig and zag.
We're going to zigzag now. It's not going to be in order, but at some point, maybe like 15, 20 minutes in, we do hit the hospital finally, where we see Laurie Strode. her daughter Karen and our girl Allison chilling.
Yeah.
They feel great. They're like, we got him. We got him, Mom. We got him. And they rush Jamie Lee Curtis into surgery. And
We
then
get
they're
the
like,
surgery scene. Ugh.
wait, yeah, why?
Why?
You could have saved like a minute or two if you just didn't show her guts open. Maybe it was another thrill and chill. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know what it was, actually. I have no good.
Okay, we're going to Grey's Anatomy this. Got it. Cool.
Yeah, it was a very technical surgery.
Yeah, and the doctor's narrating it the whole time. He's like, she'll be fine. And I'm like, okay, is this more exposition? Maybe. Probably.
Right. Now, I mean, it does come up that she has stitches and that she has recurring injuries, and I get it, but it was a funny scene that we just watch her get surgery when like the surgery was inconsequential. Like nothing goes wrong. Yeah, it's a normal surgery.
I was like, was that the point of that whole thing, just to be like later when she like maybe rips the stitches, we're like, oh yeah.
I think so.
Stitches. Internal surgery. But yeah, so Karen finds out that Michael is not dead. And oh shit, she's like, we have to keep this from Mom.
Yeah, Judge Judy I was so excited to see her in this movie because I was ready for her, and she just makes me laugh because she's still wearing the Christmas sweater. So it's just
take that off of her.
It's like infinitely funny just because in every scene she's wearing a Christmas sweater.
I know. I just want to see her swap it out.
And this scene is really funny because she's like, she finds out Michael's still alive, and then I think that somebody, when they were writing the script, was like, oh, damn, we have to address that her husband's dead. So she and her daughter literally go into the hallway, I swear to God, for 30 seconds. And the daughter goes, Dad's dead. And Judge Judy goes,
he'll always be with us.
He'll always be with us. When I tell you, not a tear, no snot, nothing. They couldn't have gotten that scene over with quick enough.
The daughter, Allison, is like really doing it. I felt like,
Allison, she's trying.
She's doing it.
She's like, okay, it says on the page my dad is dead. I should probably be upset.
Yeah,
Judy Greer was like, when's lunch?
Each time.
She couldn't have cared. She could not have cared.
Like the bones of this movie are so apparent. Like each time I'm like, okay, they put that in there. So Allison has a reason to want to be a part of this mob, because very shortly thereafter, she's going to be like, I need to go avenge Dad's death. I need to join this mob that has formed way back at the bar. Did you forget about the bar? Hope not. Bar.
Yeah.
They all, so Tommy finishes his story. We get introduced to everyone at the bar, and the sexy nurse doctor combo goes back to their car, and they're like, oh my God. Now everyone's spooked because they've seen the news. They're flipping out. And she's like, Michael Myers is in my car.
The takeaway from the news is that Michael Myers is on the loose.
Is on the loose. Yeah. And like everyone's paranoid now. So she gets in her car, sexy nurse, and she's like, Michael Myers is in my car. And in the theater, I'm like, no way. No way. He had to cover a lot of ground that night.
No way, and because he would have killed her.
That's what I'm saying. She got right in and got right out. I'm like,
I knew that it wasn't him.
Yeah, you kind of know it's a little fake out. And so that's when Tommy...
Spoiler.
Spoiler alert. That's when Tommy's like, tonight, evil ends tonight. We do it. Let's go after him. And that is when the mob is formed.
Right.
At the bar. And it's a fake out.
It's a fake out. Whoever is in the car, they don't know who it is yet, drives off, crashes the car, and escapes on foot. But this is enough for them to believe that it was Michael Myers, and that from here on, we just get a series of vignettes of Tommy going from gas station to brewery to grocery store to be like, what does he say? Evil dies tonight?
He's like, evil ends tonight or evil dies tonight. And he's like saying things like, if we need strong people, get on board. And if not, get inside. And he's like,
oh, yeah.
He's collecting bodies. He's collecting a mob.
Right. So he is rallying it up. Now.
Yes.
Interspliced with this, we have another setting, which was my favorite setting of the movie. Michael Myers' house with the gay couple who own it.
Oh,
iconic work from these two.
What are they, Big John and Little John?
Big John and Little John, which are their pet names for each other. They are two men who have
Love.
purchased Michael Myers' home, and they've done a remodel to it.
Great work. Trading spaces.
Okay,
with
I
love.
wrote down that this is it. These two trade spaces with Jamie Lee with Laurie Strode, and they each redo a room.
Yeah. Lori just installs bars everywhere.
Yeah.
And these men do a great job on her house. And they're
You
like,
know what
wait,
they do?
what?
Okay, I enjoyed their house, but
It was gorgeous.
here's what I didn't like. You can't paint every room dark green.
Yeah, it's dark. It was dark.
It was way too dark.
But it was very trendy.
It was very
room
now. It was very now.
I know the set decorator was like, oh my God, yes, I can like decorate the shit out of a room. Thank God.
Yeah. And these two, okay, when in the first scene, they get faked out by some trick-or-treaters with a prank that I didn't enjoy, where these trick-or-treaters pretended.
I didn't like that prank.
I said, you children need to go to juvenile detention or something like that. Like, that was inappropriate.
Where are your parents? Please.
But we come to find out that this house is Michael Myers' house. And when I hear that, I'm like, oh, brother.
Yes.
But it cuts. That's all we get from them.
Yeah. A little taste of them.
Just a little taste. And so at this same time, what's going on?
Yeah, I mean, at this point.
Oh, after this, Tommy tells everybody, like, split up, start looking.
Yeah, start looking for Michael. We're going to go out there and we're going to get him on foot.
And we get the best scene in the movie.
Yeah, so at this point, Lindsay,
Kyle Richards.
Yeah, Kyle Richards, the nurse who escaped Michael Myers in the first movie, and sexy nurse, sexy doctor go off in a car together, which is so fun.
So fun.
And then we do.
This is the A car.
Yeah, that's the A car. And I do want to skip ahead and just say Allison does eventually go out and avenge Dad, and she does she forgives her boyfriend for like the purposes of this movie, and she gets in the car with boyfriend's dad Lonnie, and they go searching too. And then there's like an A car, there's that car, and then there's like a Tommy car.
It's like Jurassic Park. There's like different cars.
Yeah.
It's just like Jurassic Park.
This was super fun because it's just like lending to that air of like how ridiculous this movie is. It's like Michael is just everywhere. He's all over town.
The funny thing about this scene, or these sets of scenes where we have characters spread out throughout the town, is that they just basically pretend like cell phones aren't around, because it would be so easy to just stay in contact with each other, but no one seems the need to pick up a phone. I thought
that, and then I immediately was like, well,
you
I think
you don't see any cell phones in the movie, which is funny.
On purpose. You really don't want to. No, I thought that, but I was like, it happened too quickly. Because so A car is the first car to have contact with Michael Myers himself, and they kind of come to a park, and Lindsay's like, oh my God, there's children here on a swing set, and she's like, get home, go home, people. And like within a second, Michael Myers is there, and he's making quick work of those who stayed in the car. He is just like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, but I can't stress it enough. When Kyle goes to the children and like screams and like tells them to run, again, we might sound biased, but it was legitimately the best acting in the movie.
It was so good. Does she have children, Kyle Richards?
Yeah, she has kids.
Okay, I just felt it was like maternal.
Yeah,
and it was a concern.
And she's known for like being an over the top crier about her kids on Beverly Hills. Like she's very maternal.
Yeah, she really cared about those kids. She was like, please go home. But also,
and what I loved,
anger too.
What I loved about this scene was that like she immediately comes up with a plan. She puts bricks in the pillowcase.
I didn't know what she was up to. I was like, what's she doing? What's going on?
I had no idea. She like grabs the kids' candy bags, and I'm like, not now. Like,
I'm
this isn't
why?
the time for snacks.
I was confused. But then you quickly see
Michael Myers kills everyone in the car. Like really quickly. And what's really funny is the old lady, I can't remember her name, she has the gun and she couldn't be more useless. She falls for every distraction. Like he taps the glass and she's like, bang, but there's nothing there. Yeah. And then he'll like tap the glass on the other side and she exhausts all the bullets.
Yeah, exhausts all the bullets until she's got a clear shot, and then it's no go.
She's like, this one's for Dr. Loomis. And then she's done.
Click, done. They die in the best ways possible. I can't stress this enough. I hope you're not listening without having watched So much fun. It's just
So good.
It's just so much fun to watch them die. It's the best. And Lindsay and Michael Myers have a little bit of a standoff. There's a chase, which is fun. And she hides from him. She manages to hide.
And there's a weird moment where, not weird, there's a moment where it appears that Michael knows that she's there. Like, he can sort of hear her breathing, but
does he leave
continues
her alone?
on.
Yeah, he kind of just is like, I am on a mission.
But I think what they're trying to communicate is that she knows what she's doing. Like, she just keeps quiet. She doesn't try to do anything. And
if you're going to spare anyone in this movie, I'm so happy they've spared Lindsay. I'm like, I want more of her. Bring her back.
She was an interesting character. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I'm so happy with that instinct of theirs to just keep her kicking. I was like, in Michael Myers fashion, I think she has to die right here. And I was like waiting for it. And I was like, all right, that's cool.
Oh, 100%.
She gets a good death.
I assumed that she was going to die because I'm like, they probably only had her on set for 3 days. And they were like,
get her in and out.
Yeah. But
thought so too. But they didn't. And I'm pretty psyched. I'm happy that they spared her.
Because what they were trying to do, especially with the returning cast, is that because one of the things that the movie also seems to juggle is like this idea of like what Michael's MO is. Like, yeah. And because I think what was interesting about the original movie and the 2018 version is that he does have an MO. Like, he stalks, he stabs, and then he leaves. And like in this movie, he sort of does that, but he also like, we see that he violates that principle in some of the scenes. Like when he like decorates the bodies, and it's like it doesn't. He stages them, which
so funny.
I don't know. Anyway,
it looks like he's a lot of time on his hands post kill.
Yeah, because he leaves Kyle Richards there on the riverbank, but then when Car B finds them, the bodies had been arranged.
They're arranged. Doctor has like a jack-o'-lantern on his head. The other woman has like another mask on her head.
I don't know when Michael had time to do that.
Yeah, because he had to move on to the other location.
Okay, because as soon as he killed the people in the car, he chases Kyle Richards.
I'd love to map out his evening, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know when he had time for the arts and crafts.
I think the decoy Michael Myers, aka the other escaped mental patient, is a great decoy.
So sad.
It's so sad, but it's such a good decoy for this because it allows you to be like, all right, give Michael some time to get somewhere. When we go
for sure.
When we go to that little storyline. But yeah. So it's just fun. It's so ridiculous. So the bodies are staged.
After this scene, we are back in the hospital and Tommy is like, I'm leading the revolution in the lobby. He's like trying to rally all the troops.
And in the lobby of a fucking hospital.
And what made me laugh is that the sheriff, the useless sheriff from the first movie, was
big
like,
old hat.
He's like, I am the law. I run this town. And I was like, sir, you had an opportunity to shut down Halloween.
To cancel Halloween.
And we wouldn't be in this business.
When I saw the sheriff for the first time on screen with his big fucking hat, I laughed. I was the only one laughing in the whole theater.
It's funny.
Cackled. It is so funny.
I was ready for someone to call him. I was ready for someone to call him out.
You could have canceled Halloween. That would have been the best callback ever. I would have died.
Yeah, because like they were saying like this town had 40 years to get this together. I was like, forget 40 years. He had 2 minutes and he could have stopped this whole thing. Like
Michael Myers on the loose. Cancel Halloween.
Halloween. Didn't do it.
Yeah. Oh my God. So we're in the hospital. I think at this point Laurie's like up from surgery. Allison's gone. And she does find out Michael is alive at this point because a lot of things come to a head here. I think Hawkins gets wheeled in to the same room as her. Same room. And she's like, oh my God, what? And he's like, Michael got away. And she's like, what the fuck? Karen, you didn't tell me.
Right.
And Karen's like, I'm sorry. Like, I just knew what you were going to be like. And this is it. And Jamie's like, I'm going to fight.
And she takes an IV, a needle off of the tray.
Yeah, and stabs herself
and she
in the butt.
gives herself a little butt shot. And she's like, good to go.
Are we to believe this is like maybe morphine?
Something like that. Because in the previous scene, the nurse comes in who Jamie Lee Curtis verbally abuses, and she's like,
Get out, please, now.
And the woman's like, on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your pain? And the guy's like, a 10. And then Jamie Lee Curtis does like her bed acting, and she's like, nurse, make it a double. I was like, so weird. So good. This is like the weirdest scene I've ever seen in my life.
I think this is Danny McBride again. I don't want to give him all the credit, but I think this is a comedian or a guy who's funny fucking with us because he's going, this is her date. That's what I'm saying. Make it a double.
Because, well, what she also tells in this scene, and I don't know if we'd known this already, but it felt new to me. They had experiences in the past, right? Like at a bar. But I think what she mentions is that she was like sort of so drunk those times that she doesn't really like remember certain things, but she remembers that they had a good time. But like,
yeah, I think it's something along the lines of like the first time they might have kissed or something, she was so drunk and she turned him down or something. And he was like, oh, I thought you weren't interested. Something like that.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it was in another Halloween movie too. Like we'll always qualify that. But I mean, for the purposes of this timeline, we've missed nothing, you know, like this is what they're saying in the world.
In the present, there's something there.
Something there. A little sexy time in a hospital bed. Okay. So, I mean, there's more going on. We are cutting from like Little John, Big John. We are cutting from like chases and cars and mob scenes and whatever, but this might be a good time to talk about the mob in the hospital.
Right. So as Tommy is like getting the troops together, Jamie Lee Curtis has wandered downstairs, and as everybody is converging in the lobby, the other patient who escaped in the first movie and was the driver of the car at the bar wanders into the hospital, probably because he was injured from the car crash and was like looking for some medical care. Attention. Yeah. And Tommy goes like, there he is. And of course, Jamie Lee Curtis is like, get him!
Yeah.
Michael!
Evil ends tonight. Evil ends tonight. And Tommy inciting a riot inside of a hospital is just reckless behavior. I'm just like, I cannot with you.
It is very much fire in a movie theater. Like, it is not appropriate.
Inappropriate.
And the funny thing about this scene is that like I really wish like they could have played like that yakety yak music, because like this guy was moving at a snail's pace and like no one could catch him.
No one
like,
caught him. They were barely saw him.
He was like shuffling along the wall, like along the floor and up the stairs. Yeah. And there were like hundreds of people running and they couldn't catch up to him.
They just like glimpsed his his prisoner pajamas and they're like, wow, that's him. Yeah. And like the riot is like ensuing in the lobby, and you can see Judy Greer mouthing across the room to Tommy, it's not him.
Yeah, she knows.
She knows because she's seen Michael Myers, and he's like, I thought
he's also way too short. It was like pretty clear.
I was going to say it's really clear. He's way too small. And she's like, it's not him. And I don't know what Tommy mouths back. I thought Tommy got it, but apparently he didn't, because he still's like, get him.
No, because he doesn't have a change of heart until, unfortunately, this man has died.
Spoiler. No, just kidding.
Which is funny, though, because after the man dies and they look at his body, they're like, oh, it wasn't him. Well, and I was like, but you saw his body. That's what you were chasing. Like,
it was sad. This is a little touch of humanity, a little sad.
This scene was incredibly sad.
It was really sad. And it was like, I was like, all right, I guess they have to give Karen something to do inside of a hospital. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I appreciate them being like, she wouldn't really leave the hospital. You know, she's Karen. She's careful. So they're like, let's give her something to do in the hospital. She's like, I'm going to save you. She can't save him. Sadly, she can't.
That was the only thing that I think what would have made this scene cool is if she found a way to actually save him. Because
that would have been cool. That would have been sweet.
It would have been cool. And I think like
she's the new mom. She's supposed to like protect.
The movie struggles with her character. This is the second movie in a row where they've really struggled with this character. And
my prediction. Sorry, did you want to continue? Finish.
No, that was it. No, I've been interrupted.
I'm sorry. My prediction for this movie would have been 3 lady killers. Jamie Lee Curtis is not so wounded that she can't get right back up. Karen has a change of heart, and Allison wants revenge. And it was going to be 3 women on the town just hunting this man down.
For sure.
That was like my dream for this.
Like Jamie Lee Curtis kind of set up. I could see her being like, I wheel in the security cameras, and they give her like closed circuit TV of the whole town, and she's like radioing. She's like, Judy Greer, make a left.
Yeah,
bang,
like,
bang, shoot
he's
there.
going home. And then we could get the Little John, Big John thing. That's cool. She's like, he's going to his house. Cool. Boom.
Right. Because when she's in the hospital, and essentially the whole movie, Jamie Lee Curtis doesn't do anything.
I know.
Which
I was happy for her as an actress. Like I said,
it was
those
a wonderful
days are
schedule.
Great schedule. Really nice.
So after this scene, they've realized that the man they've been hunting as the mob is not Michael Myers. And then we cut to car B, the only car that's still alive. And they are like, first of all, they found Kyle Richards. They send her to the hospital. They're like, thank God you're alive. RIP to everybody else. And then they're like, they look at a map and they're like, he is going home.
He's going home. And this is Allison, Cameron, and Lonnie.
I could have told you that. I mean, there's 4 places to go in the town.
Yeah. Skip ahead. Go home.
So they're like, let's go to his house.
Happy to see this house again. I wanted to see it in 2018, so I'm just happy to see it. I was like, yes.
Yeah. And so before they can get there, Michael has spooked out the 2 new owners, the renovators, if we will, house flippers, and he's killed them. Yeah. And it's not the first time we've seen him kill a couple in this movie. There's a really nice set piece in the opening where he kills that other older couple in a very fun way. Oh, that was funny.
It was so fun. I have to say it. Like I feel like we'd be
That scene was really funny.
Not.
That scene was really funny because the old man goes outside and he's like, oh, there's a man in a white mask holding a knife. And his wife goes, well, what does he want? And the husband's like, who cares what he wants? And then it's too late. They're done. They're dead.
That was really sad.
But it had a lightheartedness to it that I think the movie really
like right after massacring a whole bunch of volunteer firemen, it's like, let's kill these old people.
Right. And who were playing with drones, which I was like,
the drone was interesting. I was like, okay, that's fun. That was really fun. But yeah. So
my God, Laurie could have had a drone and she could have been flying it around the town looking for Michael. There he is.
The park. He's at the creek. The part of the fun of this movie is the unbelievability of the timeline, the unbelievability that he's alive, the unbelievability that he's posing these bodies and then getting to a second locale. It's just like the best. It's like, this is the world. I'm in.
Yeah, well, that's important. I think that's interesting that you say that because, again, this movie takes place, except for the flashbacks, on the same night. And realistically, the events of this movie take place over the course of maybe 2 to 3 hours. Like, it is not like this is an 8-hour ordeal. This is
still dark when the movie ends.
Not in real time, but basically in real time.
Yeah, and I think that's fun. I'm like, wow. And then, like, think about it. I think we're probably going to get 3 movies in just one night. Because I think the third one is going to stick with this night too.
For sure.
So that was really cool. But yeah, it's devastating and awesome that they go to Michael's house at this point because like they pull up and Lonnie, the dad, is like, I'm going to go in. And I'm like, this is not going to end well, Lonnie.
This is not going to end well. But also, okay, so before we go to Lonnie walking in, what the movie is now having a few different conversations about is that Michael never wanted to go to Laurie's house. He just wanted to go home. We find out, well, we don't really find it out. We knew it from the first one, but it's more clear in this one that he didn't really intend to go to Laurie's house. He was taken there by the doctor, almost as like a little Stanford prison experiment.
Yeah, Doc was like, I want to see this face off. Let's expedite the process. Let's get him there.
Because Laurie becomes like Joan of Arc, and she's like, maybe I need to die and Michael can die.
I love the prophecy of it all. It was very...
She's like, we're connected and one can't live without the other, so I need to die too.
Yeah.
And the other guy was like, sorry.
You're not that important.
He's literally like, nope, actually not true at all.
You're inserting yourself in a storyline that's like not written.
Yeah. And I actually really appreciated this because at least we were given some point of view for Michael.
I liked this. I really liked that baked in element because it also allowed Karen to be like kind of mad at mom again. Like, you're martyring yourself. Stop doing this. And Jamie Lee's like, he's coming for me. And Karen's like, he is coming for her. She's bait. And then officer's like, no. Michael never intended to get to your house. Doc brought him there.
Right.
And I like that. I really
I
like
liked
that
it too.
realization.
I thought it was one of the most successful parts of the movie.
Yeah, it's a real-time
because-
realization for them,
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
satisfying.
No, so I really, really enjoyed that because I think it cleared up a lot for the audience too.
Yeah.
Like especially me, because it was up until this
Me too.
point. Up until this point, they were floating so many theories about him, which I do understand is something that they need to do. Like it would be weird from beat one if they were like, this is who he is,
This is
and
where he's
he
going.
never. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we enter, or Lonnie, Weird Dad, new
Weird Dad number 2 of the franchise.
He's like, I'm gonna do this one on my own.
Yeah, stay in the car.
Stay in the car. I got it.
I don't need backup. I have a gun.
He's in the house for 5 seconds, and you hear a gunshot.
Pop.
He's done.
Dead.
He's dead. Okay.
Nice off-screen
He
death.
lasted 5 seconds in the house with Michael.
And he does make a big show of it. I got this. Stay in the car.
Okay, wait. I have to say this now because I forgot it. My favorite death,
Yeah, let's hear it.
gun-related death of the movie is when the sexy nurse, who we find out is actually a doctor, and her husband is a nurse.
I loved that.
I
That
was like,
great. That's so funny.
Shakespeare wishes he could
love
like
this.
with these reversals.
I loved it.
Anyway, she gets out of the car when she's fighting Michael. This is like way back, so you're gonna be so confused. She gets out of the car, points the gun at Michael, and as she's pulling the trigger, Michael like hits her hand, and it swings around, and she shoots.
Shoots herself.
I laughed at that one. I thought that was so funny.
It was like a threes punchline. It was like boom, kill, boom on her,
Yeah,
pop, kill. It was, like
so funny.
the beats of it was a joke. Like
It was
that was a
it was
straight-
100% a joke.
it was like set up, punchline, pop. That was the
Anyway,
joke. It was
yeah.
You're right. That was so funny.
Back to the end, but Lonnie's, well, we don't know it yet, but we can infer that Lonnie's dead, and then
the
two
kids
kids
take the house.
they storm the house.
Yeah.
This is where I'm saying that the movie can only work without cell phones, because you would invariably call the mob, the whatever, to be like, hey,
Get over here.
like let's surround. And
Yeah. I feel like walkies could have been cool. Walkie-talkie action.
yes,
Michael,
Absolutely.
a really fun thing, Michael could hijack a walkie and just
yeah.
breathe into one. And they're like, oh my God, we don't know where this is. It would be so fun.
it's like the one person who like always holds down the talk button so no one else can use the frequency.
Oh my God, Michael
just
does
hear-
that. Yeah. Michael ropes down,
Yeah.
tapes or ropes down the talk button so that it ties
That's
up
a
the
good
line.
idea, actually.
And then he breathes into the walkie.
And it makes Jamie Lee Curtis go crazy in her hospital room because all she can hear is the breathing.
It
So she'll
renders the
never know.
walkies useless, which is what they've done with cell phones anyway.
Right.
And it's scary.
And it's so scary.
So it's
So
scary.
anyway, they decide to go in on their own. What's her name? The granddaughter. She's like, I've done this before.
Yeah.
Well, she doesn't say
Allison.
that, but she's feeling that way.
Yeah,
And
they
then-
find Little John, Big John staged
Right.
in the room. So sad. We loved them.
He
We
put them
miss
in a tender position. I thought that was nice.
Oh, a tender
They're-
position, and the record's playing.
And the record was playing. I thought that was really sweet. I thought,
Sweet.
because he's kind of done some really, not so nice setups, pumpkins on people's heads or candy scattered about. This was a beautiful kind of
Teeth. Yeah,
resting place for them.
this was gorgeous. You could like make a painting of it, hang it
Oh,
somewhere.
absolutely. Probably in the house.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Moving on. Let's go, Chanel.
they are wandering through the house.
Yeah.
And he attacks the boy, right?
Do they make it a point to say like Michael would always stand in this one spot in the house? They
Oh.
do that. I don't remember if the boyfriend stands on the spot or not. Maybe he does.
It becomes this
That's
this
another
part
thing
I
they
ac-
introduce. They introduce another theory that
They
anyone who
introduce this-
stands on the spot dies.
Right. They introduced this theory that Michael, after he killed his sister in way, way, way back, stood in the window and just looked out
And just stared.
on the street.
Yeah.
And it became this folklore that Michael would stare out the window looking for victims.
Mm-hmm.
But then what they suggest in the movie is that he wasn't looking out the window. He was looking at his reflection.
at his reflection. And that's where we get
doing some self. That was his
Self-reflection.
Mulan reflection. Who is that girl I see moment?
Yeah, staring
And
straight
Judy
back
Greer
at
has
me.
one, but
Judy Greer does have one, but
she doesn't look quick enough.
there's impeccable reflection work in this movie. Maybe I could have used more, honestly, but they're trying to go with that theme too. So there's like a couple some mirror reflection-y moments.
What I liked about the reflection thing, even though it was pretty stupid, was that
stupid in like the best. We mean it in the best way possible. It was like
because
stupid.
What they were trying to like lurch the train towards is that Michael is interested in Michael. He's not interested in other people.
Yeah, so
and
stop inserting yourself in his narrative.
All of this stuff that he's doing is not about the people. It's about him.
Yes.
So I could appreciate it. I just think that it got a little bit lost in the sauce.
So really thick sauce.
A little, thick sauce. So,
yeah. So I don't know when we're gonna get to mention this, but we do go to 1978 one more time. This was like way back, I think, and we find out that Hawkins, because when Jamie Lee and him are having their date, we find out that he not only had the opportunity to try to kill Michael once, he also which he blunders. He also intercepts Dr. Loomis's shot.
Yeah, this felt like new information to me that Dr. Loomis was going to kill Michael.
Was like set up execution on the street.
New. That felt new to me.
That was new. And that's where it got Hawkins' backstory to me got ridiculous. I was like, I can believe he blunders it.
Yeah.
And then Michael stumbles out front. They cuff him, get him into the prison.
Right.
I can't buy that execution style. Loomis is on the street and Hawkins goes, no, and points the gun at the sky. Boom.
What was weird about that scene?
Why do we need that?
Or what they're forcing us to ignore is that there were, I don't know, 70 other people there with guns. Like, it was just weird that one junior police officer interferes and says no, and then everybody says, maybe not.
They're like, you're right. He's a person. Let's just cuff him and get him out of here.
It was strange.
I'm just thinking we didn't need it at all. I would have assumed Michael got out and got cuffed at some point because we had 40 years of him in a prison. So I just know he gets caught.
I think to your point, it's stronger that he had the chance to shoot Michael. He took the chance. He messed it up. But instead of like letting that narrative come forward, he went with a different story. That on its own was more interesting.
Yes, agreed.
And more believable, because it would make sense that if Michael is holding a body in front of him and you shoot, you there's a good real like possibility that you're not going to hit him.
Exactly. I loved that so much for his character, Hawkins' character. I'm like, wow.
And that's real guilt to hold on to.
True guilt, because you've killed an innocent person.
Yeah, he killed his partner.
Yeah.
And Michael walks away, and what's even more kind of like scary about that is like Michael leaves him there with like that trauma, or as Jamie Lee Curtis would say, that trauma of having killed your partner.
Yes.
And
I was fine there. Leave it there.
It was more interesting.
The addendum to that story made me die laughing. I was like, no,
you're right. It was
no.
it was too unbelievable.
Like I said, couldn't stop laughing. This was a straight up comedy for me. So funny.
I guess, yeah.
So funny.
That's right.
Okay.
So
I wanted to go back there just to touch on that, but now we're kind of in the grand finale. This is straight up the grand finale. We are in Michael's old home.
Right.
And Cameron is the first to catch Michael's wrath.
That's right.
They're kind of tag teaming. Cameron gets...
Well, he gets him first, and he's messing him around, and the granddaughter's like, she's in another room, and this is like a trope in this movies, is that like they're looking for Michael, right? And this happens to any duo, pair, group. You're in a silent house, and then you hear in another room, bang, 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 or like slash, bang, and then the other person always goes, "What? Is that you?" I'm like, how about
runs there?
Yeah, it's like,
how about get out? How about leave?
She was like going through drawers, like looking through things. I'm like, let's just assume yes, okay? Let's just assume that it's
Allison. Get the fuck out. Get out of the house.
So she gets over to him, and it becomes like a 2-on-1 with Michael, and Michael pushes Allison. Is that her name, Allison?
Allison down the stairs. Yeah,
downstairs. Breaks. I assume she breaks her leg, right?
I thought it was like a femur, like the crack that we heard.
Something is broken because she can barely walk. She can barely walk.
Painful.
Yeah, it's
That was one of
something.
the scariest parts for me because it was like that felt real. Like you fall and you crack a bone. That was that.
No, right. It was like that was one of
Scary.
those moments where it's like the scene in Black Swan. What was that movie with Natalie Portman?
Yeah, yeah,
Is it
Black
Black?
Swan, the
Where
ballerina
her
movie.
where Natalie Portman slams the door on her mother, but it's just her fingers that get caught in the door.
The
It's like those,
crack.
yeah, it's like those realistic like things.
Yeah.
Because he does like some crazy things with the boy's body. He like puts him on a banister and spins his head around. It was like, bleh.
That was such fun too. Allison's watching it all happen. It's like Michael Myers is a showman.
This
He
was
is
his.
the greatest showman.
He was the greatest showman.
And he is like, watch what I can do, bitch.
Yeah.
And
He does set
is.
this one up because he injures the boy so severely that he's clearly going to die, but he's not dead. And
Yeah.
Michael starts walking down the stairs. And she's like, oh, well, whatever, Bonnie. And Michael's like, girl, I was just going to let him bleed out. And he turns around and he gives his head an old spin.
Another
and he's
little
like,
twist.
And he's like, you happy now? Like, you good?
Yeah, we're done now with him. Stop.
And he wanders downstairs.
And it's like Michael, Allison, Allison, Michael. Oh my God, can she grab the gun? It's like, oh, can she grab a knife? It's really scary. It's fun. And
Yeah.
right the moment Allison's like probably should die, Mom,
Judge
Judy
with the pitchfork.
stabs him in the back with a pitchfork.
Pretty good.
Wow. Cherry on top.
And again, another one of my favorite tropes from these movies. People love to get one little knife into Michael and then celebrate.
Whoa, we did it.
We did it. She immediately runs over to her daughter, which I get it. But in that time, Michael's like, ladies,
Do you know how
I'm
this
not
works?
dead.
I'm about
I'm
to stand
not
back
dead.
up.
And Judge Judy takes his mask off.
Nice touch.
We don't see his face,
Nope.
but he walks out and she lures him away with the mask,
Liked that.
eventually setting a trap.
Liked that touch.
This was a great scene. This was a really good scene.
Two surprises or like two really fun moments there. I love that she takes the mask, which is basically you're like taking away his identity. It's almost like he isn't Michael without it and he can't kill without it. So it's like a little rest. It's a resting of what's about to
Yeah.
happen. So she
What
takes the mask off.
I think what they were suggesting with the window scene is that like Michael is clearly struggling with who he is. Like,
Yes.
I think what they're suggesting is like Michael actually doesn't like what he's doing.
I don't
because
think he likes
can't
what he
look-
sees when he looks in the
like,
mirror.
right. He can't look at his reflection. So it's almost like he's not going to do this
Without,
if he doesn't have the cover of this because he won't be like,
yeah, he can't look at himself.
He'll be sick to his stomach.
Like, oh, I can't believe it. Yeah, so I loved this. It was a nice resting of the game. And it was a fun reveal that Judy Greer lures him away with the mask, puts it down, and she basically lures him to the mob. I didn't see that coming. That was
And then
very
my favorite
cool.
line of the movie. Gotcha.
A callback to the gotcha, which I loved.
It was like a real callback to the end of the other one. And I love that. Like,
Loved it for her. I was like, thank God. Finally, they gave Judy Greer like a moment, like a full circle retribution moment.
yeah,
Or so
for
we
sure. And this is what I liked about this scene in the ways that I had problems with her scene where she tried to help the patient was that her plan works. Like she is able to lure him and she's a good actress. Like she does this good job, or I mean like a good actress in the scene with Michael she's good at portraying that like helpless
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
Like when he's chasing her, she's so helpless. She's acting that way. And I think Michael, he doesn't read that as strength.
Nope. No, that was such a good moment. And then we get the mob and they're like, everyone get in here. There's something cool said. I don't remember it. And then they all
Everybody
take
gets a
turns.
turn. Now, it did make me
Getting a
think,
knife in my
I was like, this is really like, I don't know what this is about me, but this is what, if you remember from the first one, I was like, this is what I hoped happened to their dad. When I was like, everybody gets a turn. I was like, oh, was
Poor
that-
guy.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Innocent.
Poor guy. But yeah, everybody gets a turn with Michael.
And I am cackling. I am just giddy with glee. This is so fun. So fun.
I mean, okay.
There's a knife.
He's
There's 3
shot.
bullets.
These timber is smacked up against his back. Like, he's dead. He has to be dead.
It's so good. It's
or at
just
least
too good.
paralyzed. Like,
Something.
he was $1 Million Babied like 7 times during that
Break
scene.
his leg. Let's see him limp over. Nope.
Right.
Nope.
Okay, but in the context of this scene, we are led to believe that he is dead.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, he's down.
That's
He goes down.
That's safe to say.
I'm trying to think
He's-
what we're cross-cutting between, because we do get a fake out. It's like stab, stab, stab. He goes down.
So that scene ends. Judy Greer leaves the scene and goes back to
Back to the
meet with
house.
her daughter.
Yeah.
And as she's comforting her daughter, we cut back to the scene where Michael is lying face down, and there's a moment where he grabs a knife, I assume,
Gets right
and
back up.
takes everybody out.
And
This is a fun scene.
it was fun.
I enjoyed
It's fun.
it.
It's like it's a flipperoo. And then it's like
a real
he
flipperoo.
makes quick work of all of them. And it's just one dead after the other. Boom, boom, boom. Tommy's
dead.
we think.
Oh,
think.
right.
I mean, I'm going to
He's
say
stabbed. Let's just say that.
I know better than to say so-and-so's dead, because I thought Hawkins was dead in the first one. So
No, you're right.
And then we
You're right.
revisit him. So, yeah, I have to maintain a little bit of hope that maybe he's not, but it looks like he kills everyone, that whole mob. Just
Right.
slaughters them all and then beelines it back home.
Because he just wants to go home.
He wants to go home. And Judy Greer,
He's like a Boo Radley character. Just let him sit in his dirty house.
oh my God, Michael. I just want to know what makes you tick, babe. So he walks back home.
Okay, yeah, we don't actually know where he goes yet, but Judy Greer's sitting on the steps, and as the scene is abuzz, medical attention is happening, whatever, she decides to walk up to Michael's room because she had been told the story in the hospital that
About the reflection.
that is where
Yeah.
it was a question of whether or not that window was for reflection or for looking out.
Yeah, so
And
she's
she
like, I'm going to go
stands
see
there.
what he sees.
Still in her Christmas sweater.
I know.
It's like a poncho almost.
It's
knitted
like-
poncho.
It's like
hideous.
they gave her all this really serious stuff to do, but they were like tap dance.
Yeah.
It's just like silly.
Yeah.
But I didn't want her to go up. I didn't even understand why, but she goes up to go stand in the spot. I guess she thinks she's safe. She's like, the mob's got it. They
for
have him
sure.
handled.
Like she is assumed. I mean,
Yeah.
when she left the scene, it was a point where Michael appeared to be dead.
It looked under control.
It looked under control.
Let's just say. Yeah.
Yeah.
She goes up, she stands on the spot, and like the last fun, scare, amazing, like what the fuck of the movie,
Yeah.
Michael, right
Right.
behind her.
I love this scene because
Kills
she
her.
sees him in the reflection looking
Yep.
back.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think similar to your discussion of just Tommy, though, she is stabbed, and that's how the movie ends. So
Yep.
if she's dead or not, TBD.
Yeah.
But what's interesting, though, is that realistically, no one from that mob is going to be able to help her because they're dead.
They're dead.
And really, the only people at the house is her daughter.
Yeah, and
who-
she's got like a broken femur. So
Yeah, she can't walk. She needs one of those like stair things where
Yeah.
you sit in the seat and it
The-
takes you up. So they have to get an appointment for that. And
when
get
they
it
remodel
installed.
Michael's house, they can probably put that in, honestly.
So that's going to take a few weeks for her daughter to be able to get up the stairs.
Yeah. And then like the last few images of the movie, I feel like it's like Judy Greer cut to Jamie Lee Curtis in the hospital, just like looking out.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is looking out of the glass.
Yeah, reflection
in her
again.
room.
Reflection.
Yeah, reflection.
Yeah. They should have played Reflection, a creepy minor version of Reflection in the credits. That would have been fun.
Yeah. This happens a lot in like in a 3-movie trilogy. Well, I guess all trilogies are 3 movies. In a trilogy, the first movie,
It's in the name.
you get you figure out who your characters are. Then in your second movie, you kind of scatter them over the board.
Yeah.
And then in the third movie, they come back together. So it's
Okay.
like,
yeah, this makes
I
sense.
think like at this point, our characters are scattered. Like Jamie's
Yeah.
is in the hospital. Judy is in trouble. Andy is literally what's her name? Allison?
Allison, yeah, the actress named
Oh,
Andy. I'm
okay.
excited. You actually just made me realize I hadn't articulated it this way yet. I think that there will be a time in the very near future where this is a long movie. I think that movie theaters and people at home will just do 1, 2, 3 without stopping.
Yeah,
That's cool.
for sure.
That's amazing.
When Halloween ends, which is what they've already announced the title will be,
Yeah.
I'm sure that when that comes out, you will have the opportunity to like watch
Triple it. Yeah.
yeah, because
That's
they really
cool.
there are no breaks.
Yeah, because where critics would want to complain about this one, which I have read a little bit of complaining,
Yeah,
you just need to treat this as act 2 of a movie. So
Yeah.
the first movie was act 1. That's set up. Like you said,
Yeah.
this is cool. So if I treat this entire movie as act 2, the fun, which we lovingly refer to as the fun and games,
yeah,
that's so exciting. So I'm excited for the third movie because that'll be act 3. That will be the grand conclusion. And this movie
Yeah.
delivered on what it promised. It's called Halloween Kills.
kill. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think that
Like, wow. Just wow. I feel
there's
great.
a line. There is like when you're reading books, they will tell you that
You
the
read
first
books?
I read books.
that's
They will
weird.
say sometimes I had a professor tell me one time that the first line of the book will teach you how to read the book. Not what it's about, but how to read the book.
Yes,
And what
it's all about
this
that
movie
context.
Yeah, and this movie teaches you how to watch the movie from beat 1. It's like this movie is
A continuation.
killing. It's a killing. Like you will see people die.
Yeah.
And that is what the movie is about.
Yeah.
And like it delivered.
I feel really good.
I thought it was so fun.
This is the most fun I've had in a movie in a very long time. It absolutely delivered on what it was promised. It's super self-aware. It's referential. We see the old sheriff come back, Brackett, whose daughter Annie died in
Yeah.
78. It's
Oh.
referential without being too self-referential.
Yeah.
Each kill is grander, funnier, better. Each
Yeah.
time Michael Myers gets up, it's funnier, it's better.
Absolutely.
The self-awareness to me is what makes it good. I think that they just knew exactly what they were doing. None of this was like an accident. And I
Yeah.
couldn't have imagined, like I said, my predictions would have been more tame. Like everything I had predicted for this movie was like, it was like the 78 version, like just real,
Yeah.
real. No. This is fun and games.
Yeah, it was surprising. It was surprising to watch. And I think that that is something interesting.
Yeah.
When a movie can surprise you.
I'm grateful. I'm grateful I didn't get what I would have wanted in a weird way. I didn't know what I wanted, but it just didn't give me anything that I could have imagined.
Because here's why I think people will have a hard time with this movie, especially fans of Halloween. Because what the movie is suggesting
Yeah.
is that, okay, all the thinking you've been doing about Michael Myers for 40 years,
It's like
you're
scrap
wrong.
it. Yeah.
You're wrong.
Scrap it.
But the new theory that they're positing in this movie is not so outlandish. Like they're not saying Michael Myers flew here from Mars. They're just saying that actually he wasn't interested in Laurie.
Yeah, I've only done very little poking around, but I have heard that at one point in the universe of Halloween, there's like an idea that Laurie and Michael are brother sister.
Yeah. Well, they reference that in the 2018 version.
Yeah, do they?
Well, so in the morning when they're walking and the girl has the bubble tea, the granddaughter was like, "Yeah, my grandmom's Laurie Strode and whatever." And then the friend with the bubble tea goes, "Wait, wasn't Michael her brother?" And she
It's like
goes,
poking
"No."
fun at it.
Yeah, they're poking fun at it.
I mean, hey, they already I'm assuming they've exhausted that line of thinking. That's done.
And they're not incorporating that.
Yeah, new take.
It's a new take.
If Michael is not going to be
Fresh. It's a
relentlessly,
breath of fresh.
yeah, because the 78 version, I was like, he is imprinted on Laurie Strode. For some reason, he is reminded of his sister, and he's Laurie Strode. But
And what's funny you bring that up, though, is because you articulated this in the last episode we did, and part of your frustration was that he wasn't imprinting on the granddaughter. At all.
Yup.
And
why would he? He doesn't care about
And-
Laurie.
right. I think that's what the
Yeah.
movie is suggesting, was that like you are looking for the wrong thing, specifically you.
Specifically
Okay.
me. You were wrong, Chanel.
You were wrong, Chanel. And they put that in the credits.
Bitch, Chanel was wrong. Yeah, I just am continuously, the more we talk about it, which I'm like, yes, I am more and more impressed. Like, I'm just absolutely impressed with They doubled down. We've already done the brother sister thing. We're done with that. This is a new thing.
Yeah.
And they kind of tease you. They confuse you. They want you being like, wait, what? This reflection? Does he want Lori? Karen's mad at her mom for constantly putting herself in harm's way. Mom is like, I need to die. I need to martyr myself. And it's like, no. It's just Michael Myers.
Yeah, because what's interesting is that for 40 plus years, the only perspective that this franchise has provided is Laurie's. And like what they're saying is that is only how she viewed the events. But that doesn't mean that it's right.
Yeah.
Like she still was a victim of these events.
Sure.
But the way that she's internalized them doesn't mean that that's real.
Yeah, not the full story.
I really like that.
I appreciate this so much.
It's almost like they were killing your
idea.
Your idea, or killing the idea that we've all had.
Yeah.
So I bet there are a lot of frustrated viewers. I bet.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand. I did this kind of like not backward. We picked like a timeline that works, but I would be really intrigued to do 78, then go do Halloween 2, like the very next one, because that one's a direct continuation of that story. So,
which takes place in a hospital too.
Does it? Okay, cool. Yeah, I've heard. So I'm just like, yeah, if I want a different take on this, or if I wanted to see the Michael Stalks Lori narrative, like I get to choose my own adventure. So the fact that these exist is really cool to me. And I no longer am like, oh, they betrayed everything they built in 78. It's like, bitch, no, they didn't. They've just exhausted all these storylines, and we're going to do one more, and it's going to be fun.
Do you remember the end of Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back? Where
love that one. It's the best
one.
One.
Okay, so remember at the end where Luke, his hand, remember he gets the new hand, right?
Yup.
And he's standing in the spaceship with Leia, and they look out
and
the
they're just
window.
Looking. Yeah.
And they sort of like, there's like a disturbance in the force. Yeah. That basically was like the ending. Where Laurie's looking out the hospital. I'm just thinking about it right now. It's like, it's the same imagery. It's like they knew
Star
that
Wars.
this is Star Wars. She knew something was wrong with Judge Judy, but like she can't do anything about it. In the same way that like they knew that like
instinct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Same thing. It's the same movie.
I think I'm going to go see this again. I'm not kidding. I think I'm going to go back to the theaters. I want to go.
I think it would be fun to watch again. I think it would be fun to watch again, specifically thinking about the transition with Michael and what we know about Michael by the end of the movie.
Yeah,
I think it would be fun to rewatch it.
Oh, I feel so good about like what we know about him now. I'm like, oh, this is going to be good.
Yeah.
I just want to fast forward to the next one, but I think we have to wait
next
a year.
year.
Damn it. God damn it.
Yeah, so everyone set a calendar reminder for yourself in 1 year.
This was the best time. I want to say if any fan of this pod, if any one of our 10 fans wants to go make a pie chart of every character in this movie and percentage-wise break down how much screen time they have, I want to see that. I want to see that pie chart. I'm into it.
Yeah, we can't pay for it, but we will take it.
we can't pay for it. This would be volunteer only. And I didn't ask you to do it. It's just like if you want.
You decided to do it.
It's of your own volition. So
yeah.
Let me know.
But start now.
Please start working on it, though.
ASAP.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel really good. That was everything. That was so much fun.
It was really good. And again, I can't stress it enough, and I really want to repeat it. Go and enjoy Kyle Richards' performance. That's what I want to be my last note. Like, truly, she blew me away.
Yeah. I can't wait to see more of her in the last movie. I
hope she's in it.
I think she will. Oh, I hope so.
She has to be, because
they're probably hiding it.
They take her to the hospital, and I bet you she's going. She needs to have a reuniting scene with Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah, I want to see that. I want
especially now that Tommy's maybe dead.
I want like a Harry, like, so okay, we're all talking about the same thing here. Star Wars, Harry Potter. It's like the hero's journey. This feels very. I want the Harry Potter ending too. I want to see the trio at the end, looking over the rubble.
Yeah.
However that happens, whatever the trio is, if it's Lindsay, Tommy, Lori, if it's Lori, Karen, Allison, I want to see that.
I think that what the movie has taught me is that
don't guess.
Don't guess,
don't
because
even try.
The name of the movie will be Halloween Ends, And how it ends,
That could
I
just
have
mean
no...
it's after midnight and it's November 1st.
Exactly.
That's how I feel about that.
Like the evening of Halloween has ended.
Over. That's it.
Or, so I think like it'll be, I'm very curious to see the next movie.
I can't wait. That was so fun. I've probably said that too many times.
So fun.
So fun. So fucking fun. Yeah, I mean, that's it. I feel good. Don't forget to like, rate.
We killed it.
Don't forget to like, rate, comment. The pod is now available on YouTube. If you're watching it here, comment below. Like, talk to us. This would be so fun. Rate it 5 stars, and we'll read your review on air.
That's a promise.
That is a promise, not a threat. Get your reviews in early because I have noticed they take a little while to post. I don't know why I would know that. That's weird that I would know that, but...
No, I know that because I've left reviews for other pods and it won't show up for a while.
Yeah, so get your review in now because if you want it to show for the next episode...
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, bye, Steven. I mean... These the goodbyes on this pod are so awkward because the audience is craving a goodbye, much like they're craving a Michael stabbing scene.
Yeah, like any good like Tennessee Williams play, when we hang up this call, we meet backstage and we discuss how that night's performance went.
Yeah, so we know you're looking for the goodbye, but we also feel awkward because we know we're just going to keep talking.
But we can act it. We can act it probably better than we could do it realistically. So we should just do a scene.
Okay.
Where you say goodbye and I say goodbye.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it for today. See you on the next one. Bye.
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 And then I'll go to hang up.
Okay.